To anticipate, to await Mashiach. So this is it's a very interesting thing. So we talk about awaiting Mashiach. So there's a lot of questions that come to mind. So one question is, why is Mashiach something that we have to await for? Why is there an obligation? Why is there a chiyuv that we have to anticipate Mashiach? Why is it not enough to believe in Mashiach? We believe it's going to happen. Why is it necessary to await and anticipate the coming of Mashiach? So that's one question. Now, if we look in the Rambam, so the Rambam says more than that. He says a very powerful, seemingly almost like strange thing about awaiting Mashiach. So he says, this is in Perek Yud Aleph, chapter 11 of Hilchos Melachim, the end of Rambam. So the Rambam tells us a little bit about Mashiach. He tells us, HaMelech HaMashiach Asid Lamoid Ulahachser Malchus David LaYoshna. Melech HaMashiach, he is destined to arise and bring back the Davidic dynasty, L'Memshalah HaRishayna, to its original sovereignty. Ubayna HaMikdash, HaMekabes Tinchei Yisroel, he'll build the Beis HaMikdash, he'll gather in all the exiles. V'chayzin kol HaMishpatim b'yamav keshahayu mikaydim. And all the mitzvahs are going to come back. Makrivin korbanos, will bring korbanos, Beis Shmita and V'yovelos, will make Shmita, Yovel, Kachol mitzvahs ha'amur b'Torah, according to all the mitzvahs. Then the Rambam says like this: V'chol mi she'einei maimin bai. Anyone who doesn't believe in him, oy mi she'einei mechaka l'biyasai, or someone who is not mechaka, we'll translate that now as someone who doesn't anticipate his coming. Loy b'shar neviim bilvad hu kaifer. Not only is he denying what the other prophets say, ela b'Torah u'v'Moshe Rabbeinu. He's denying Torah and Moshe Rabbeinu. Sharei ha-Torah he'id olav, because the Torah itself explicitly testified and spoke about how Mashiach is going to come. The Rambam brings three proofs how we see clearly in the Torah that Mashiach is going to come. The first one is in Parshas Nitzavim, where it says that V'shav Hashem lekechas shavuscha, Hashem is going to bring back all your captives. And the next one is he brings from Parshas Bilam, where Bilam talks about how there's going to be a successor of David HaMelech. And the Rambam goes through all the psukim over there, all the verses, and explains how they're all alluding to Mashiach. So therefore, if you don't believe in Mashiach, the Rambam says you're denying Torah, because the Torah clearly spoke about Mashiach. It clearly says that Mashiach is going to come one day. So if you don't believe in him, you're denying what it says in the Torah. Okay, that's so far so good. So far it's understood. But the Rambam says another thing. He says that someone who doesn't await Mashiach's coming, who's not mechaka l'biyasei, is also denying Mashiach. So the question is two questions really. One question is, seemingly awaiting Mashiach is a feeling, right? It's a feeling that a person has to have, right? He has to be excited, he has to await, this is something that he wants to happen. So if I don't have a feeling, so why does that make me a kafir? Why does it make me that I'm denying, right? If I don't feel, so I'm not denying, right? I just don't feel because whatever, and for whatever reason, I'm not so excited about it. Seemingly, denial is the opposite of belief. It's the opposite of belief, right? You have a question? What? You're saying it's like va'ahavta. Okay, so some want to say, okay, so if you really believe, right, if you really believe in Mashiach, right, and if you really understand what Mashiach is, so then you'll await his coming. Okay, just like we have find a similar thing to loving Hashem. How could you be required to love Hashem? So we say, well, the answer is that you have to understand and you have to be mizbainin, you have to think about Hashem, think about the Eibishter. And if you think about the Eibishter and you understand how great he is and you understand his oneness, so automatically that will lead you to love Hashem. So a similar thing, if you really understand what Mashiach is all about, then that will lead you to await his coming. Okay, so I think that's true. No, I think it's true. But it sounds like from the Rambam over here that there's two things over here. He says someone who doesn't believe in him, that's one thing, or someone who believes in him and doesn't await his coming. It sounds like it's possible to believe in Mashiach, totally, 100%, right? But still, you don't await his coming. And the Rambam is saying that even if you believe in him, but you don't await his coming, so it's not just that you're lacking in your feeling, but you're lacking in your belief somehow. Somehow, by not awaiting his coming, somehow this is somehow a belief that if I don't await his coming, so you're okay for it, right? And then you could also ask the question, well, what the Torah just says that Mashiach is going to come over here. What does the Torah say over here that you have to await Mashiach, right? He's telling us that since the Torah clearly speaks about Mashiach, so if you don't await Mashiach, you're okay for it. But what does it say you have to await Mashiach? So those are all questions, right? So first of all, why is it so important to anticipate Mashiach's coming? Second of all, why, if you don't anticipate Mashiach's coming, why does that make you a kafir? Why does that make you a non-believer? You can believe, you just don't anticipate. And third of all, what does the Torah clearly say that you have to anticipate the coming of Mashiach? Okay, so I think there could be two answers to the question. So first we'll go to the simple way of learning the Rambam. So if you turn to the next page, you look in the Pirush HaMishnayos. The Rambam in Sanhedrin over there, he talks about the Yud Gimel Ikrei Amunah, 13 principles of faith. And the 12th one, Hayesod Hashneim also, the 12th principle is Yemaisa Mashiach. So the Rambam over here defines what is this principle of faith. What is it exactly that you have to believe in? It says Yemaisa Mashiach. The 12th principle is Yemaisa Mashiach v'hu lahaminu la'ameis shriavai. This is to believe and to know. In other words, into sort of say, and la'ambis means to know that it's true, that Mashiach will come. Then he adds, v'lo yechashiv sheyis acher, and not to think that Mashiach is going to delay. Im yismameya, and if he delays, chakeloi, await him. V'liyasim leizman, says don't make a time when he has to come. And don't come up with all different ideas based on voices and psukim lahitzizman biyasek to derive when he's going to come. Right? The sages are not happy about those who try to calculate when Mashiach is going to come. So what is the Rambam saying here? He's saying that two things. First of all, you have to believe in Mashiach. You have to believe that Mashiach is going to come. Second of all, you shouldn't think the Mashiach is going to delay. What does that mean exactly? What does it mean that you shouldn't think the Mashiach is going to delay? So I think what it means is like this. A person could say, I believe in Mashiach. I believe one day Mashiach is going to come. There's going to come a time Mashiach is going to come. When is that time? I don't know. But not now. Sometime in the future. Sometime in the future, eventually Mashiach is going to come. But I don't believe that Mashiach really could come now. In other words, I think there's like a certain time when Mashiach is going to come. But
almost like not in my time.
Yeah, to think about it like not in my time, in some time, right? Sometime Mashiach is going to come. So you think believing in Mashiach is that you have to believe that Mashiach could come any time. I think that's what it means. You can't think that Mashiach is going to delay. You can't think that Mashiach, there's a time, sometime in the future when Mashiach is going to come, but it's not now. Part of believing in Mashiach means that you have to believe that he could come any time. He could come any time, even now. And that's why the Rambam gets into this whole thing about lo yasim leizman, don't make a time for Mashiach. What he's trying to say is that because believing in Mashiach, this is one of the Yud Gimel Ikrei Amunah. This is part of the Ikr of believing in Mashiach means that you believe that he could come any time. And if he doesn't come, if he doesn't come, chakeloi, I mean you still have to expect him. Just because he didn't come. In other words, it could be two options. One person could say that, he's not coming anytime now, he's coming sometime way in the future, not now. Or a person could say, he's coming time, he might say, okay, I think Mashiach is coming, sometime very soon. Then some time passes, Mashiach doesn't come, then you're like, he's not coming anymore. Too late, right? In other words, you think the time passed already, right? Whatever, it's not. In other words, there was an opportune time where you could have came, now it's too late. So I think the simple meaning of mechaka l'biyasai it may be, you wouldn't translate it in English as anticipate, but as expect. Mechakel means expect. Mechakel l'biyasei means that you have to expect Mashiach. You have to expect him. You have to expect him at any time. So now we understand this is part of a belief. I'm not talking about necessarily the feeling. The feeling is something else. That also you should have a feeling that you should eagerly and expect him and hope that he comes very soon. But before you get to the feeling, before you get to that feeling, you have to believe, part of the belief in Mashiach, that he could come any moment. You have to expect him. So the Rambam is saying that so either someone who doesn't believe in Mashiach, or even if you believe in Mashiach, but you don't expect him to come anytime soon, you're denying Torah. And I think, why are you denying Torah? What does it say that in the Psukim? So I'm not sure, but I think maybe because in the Psukim it doesn't say when Mashiach's going to come. I think it says some places. I have to look into that. But how do we know that Mashiach can come anytime? Because it doesn't say anywhere in Torah when Mashiach's going to come. So the implication is he could come anytime. He could come anytime. That's the idea.
Could, but that's not a hechsher.
What? But I think the point is that.
But just because you don't know when the time is doesn't mean that you must derive that he has to come now.
Not that he has to come now. He could come now. I think the point is that.
Is that a source to be machriach you to believe that he's coming?
I don't know. Yes, you're asking is it the fact that the Torah doesn't say clearly when he's going to come? Is that yeah? So that's why I'm not so sure about it. Or maybe the source is maybe from the. I understand. Yeah, you're asking do we have to say the fact that it doesn't say when, that it means necessarily that he could come anytime? I'm not sure. That's what I'm not sure. Or maybe the source is from. He's asking what's the proof. He's asking what does it say over here. He's saying what does it say in these psukim, right? One of our questions was, what does it say in these psukim that the Rambam is bringing that you have to expect Mashiach, right? It says the Mashiach is going to come. What does it say that you have to expect him any moment?
Right.
So that's a question. I'm just suggesting maybe from the fact that the Torah doesn't say clearly when, so it means that it can happen anytime. Maybe. I don't know. You're saying that, but who says? Okay, but I think there's a deeper meaning over here also.
Good, but why is that a proof that is machriach you to believe that he has to come right now?
Right.
Because it doesn't say that.
Right.
Well, maybe because there is no time.
I think that's the point.
Every moment is the time.
Yeah, meaning any moment could be. Okay, but I think if we look in the Rebbe's Siches, I think the Rebbe understands being mechakel l'biyasei the way most people understand it, which means not only that you have to expect Mashiach.
If you're talking about what time is its time,
yeah,
that's speculation. Where do you see that a hechner, as part of the belief in Mashiach, to expect his coming at this moment or any time specific?
Right.
Well, it seems from knowing about Mashiach and everything that you need to expect. Part of believing in Mashiach is expecting him, but I'm just saying.
You're saying, where's the source? Right. You're saying, where's the source? Yeah, where's the source we have to expect? Okay, that's something we still have to figure out. Now, I think if we see over here, we'll see part of the Sicha over here, famous Sicha over here, where the Rebbe talks about another place in Rambam, where the Rambam talks about how important it is to await Mashiach and anticipate Mashiach. So we actually had this recently in Rambam, those who study 3 chapters a day. So in Hilchos Parah Aduma, Zok the Rambam says, V'teisha paris adumais nasa mishin itztavu b'mitzvah zud. The Rambam's talking about the history of the Parah Aduma, of the red heifer. He says there were 9 paris adumais that were made from when the Jews were commanded in this mitzvah ad shecharav habayis b'shniya, until the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash. Rishayna asa Moshe Rabbeinu, the first one was done by Moshe Rabbeinu. Shniya asa Ezra, the second one was done by Ezra. V'sheva me Ezra ad churban habayis, and there were 7 from the time of Ezra till the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash. And then the Rambam concludes, V'ha'asiris yasa hamelech haMashiach meheru yigala amin kein hiratz. And the 10th Parah Aduma will be done by Melech HaMashiach, the King Mashiach. And then the Rambam adds in a tefillah, a prayer. He says, may he speedily be revealed. Amen, kein hiratz, amen, this should be Hashem's will. It should happen very soon. So the Rebbe asks a bunch of questions over here. The the third paragraph. Der Rambam darf aber verstehen. Der Sefer Yad ist nicht das Sefer von Divrei Yisroel, sondern das Sefer von Halacha. Okay, that's not the question I want to focus on. The last paragraph. Begeder etzem ha'isaf of ha'asiyas yasam melech ha'mashiach. And in Mazbu zayin al-kapanu b'doichak yibalas der Rambam bringt b'sifrei oichilch sal Mashiach. Sagt as melech ha'mashiach v'doich machen ha'paradum. Okay, so now the fact that the Rambam mentions the fact that Mashiach is going to bring a paraduma, okay, so that we can understand, right? Because Rambam also brings the halachas of Mashiach. Aber es bleibt tamur, was der Rambam ist der noch meisev meiri Geulah in kein Yiratzin. A reinstellen b'sefer halacha b'koshu tefillah v'yesam Mashiach. The Rambam is putting over here in a book of halacha a request a tefillah for v'yesam Mashiach. Why is the Rambam putting in his own tefillah, right? This is a book of halacha, right? You can keep your tefillah, for that's there's a time for davening, there's a time for teaching halacha. How does it land over here in a sefer of halacha? Okay, so the Rebbe goes through the whole thing. But let's skip over here to Sifhei. And the Rebbe says a very powerful thing. That the Rambam actually, by adding in this tefillah, is teaching us a very important halacha. The explanation is like this. Anyone who doesn't believe in Mashiach, or someone who doesn't expect Mashiach, he's denying the Torah, is denying Moshe Rabbeinu. Das heißt, it's not enough to believe in Bias Mashiach. No, is mechuya zu hoffen und warten auf Bias Mashiach. I'm saying we have to hope, we have to await Mashiach, we have to anticipate Mashiach. So you see the Rebbe explains being machaka, meaning that you have to await it, not just expect. Not just to think that he could come, but you actually have to want and await and anticipate his coming. Im Kain who move on, so if so it's understood, as Shem be there in Hamunah b'viyas Mashiach and in Tamidi, just like you have to constantly believe in Mashiach. Al derech says there is the chiyuv and mechakal b'yas chiyuv Tamidi. So too, awaiting and anticipating Mashiach is a constant obligation. Ayidav ständig hoffen warten auf Mashiach, and you have to constantly hope and await Mashiach's coming. Unachmer. And furthermore, vi mezakt in davening, like we say in davening, ki lishuascha kivinu kol hayom. Right? We say in davening that Hashem, we await your salvation the entire day. The whole day we're waiting for Mashiach. The inivu mechakal b'yaseh was kepashas lashon halacha is a hergish nita yediyah ba'alma. So this concept of awaiting Mashiach, which, like the halacha says, it's a feeling. It's not just a knowledge. Kum dofun v'sayid fielt as kendet haben kein shleimus beli bias HaMashiach. Awaiting Mashiach comes from the feeling that you can't be complete without Mashiach. Ubemela stay there in a tikva tmidas l'bias HaMashiach, and therefore you have a constant hope for Mashiach's coming, feeling it as under Mezeritch chaser, feeling that without that you're lacking. Und der Fuhres versteht man als B'shas Einer, welches Machaka Bias HaMashiach, der Mont an Ini B'shayches zu Mashiach. And for now you understand that someone who's awaiting Mashiach, whenever you mention anything that has anything to do with Mashiach, even if it's a total side point, does nicht vorbeigehen, you can't pass it by. No, das ist bei ihm gleich mal regesh hatzipiyah zu Mashiach. And right away, it arouses within the person a feeling of anticipation for Mashiach. It becomes your need. Rabbi mentions in the footnote that the mitzvah of davening is whenever you have a need, whenever you feel that you need something, then there's a mitzvah to daven to Hashem. You have to daven to Hashem. You have to pray that Hashem should fill your lacking. You should be zeicha as soon as possible to Bias HaMashiach. Und das ist Kavanas HaRambam. Mit Aleph reinstellen die Tefillah Meheira Yigol Kein Rasim Bechlal. And that's why the Rambam, first of all, he put in this Tefillah that Mashiach should be revealed very soon. Beis reinstellen Meheira was frier. Second of all, the fact that he emphasized that it should happen quickly, as soon as possible. And Gimel Davka Shalei Ben Kaima. Inuchas Paraduma. And third of all, the fact that he puts it not in its place in the halachas regarding the Paraduma. Der mit ist der Rambam Madgish, a halacha. Avifol is dav zayin de mechakal b'yaseh. With this, the Rambam is emphasizing a halacha, how much a person has to await Mashiach. Even when the concept of Mashiach comes just like as a side point. And an under Indian, like a total side point. Rambam is coming to tell us that whenever you mention Mashiach, even if it's a total side thing, Mashiach has to be so important to you that right away it should bring out in you a tefillah that you want. You're davening to Hashem, you're asking Hashem that Mashiach should come immediately. Then, obviously you can't ask, in Sefer Yad Mashiach. And you can ask another question. So, why doesn't the Rambam mention this tefillah every time he mentions Mashiach in Sefer Hayad? So that is why the Rambam is a Sefer Halacha, right? Because at the end of the day, the Rambam is a Sefer Halacha. So the point is that the Rebbe says in the rest of the paragraph, so you don't need to mention the halacha every single time. The Rambam is just putting in this tefillah once in a total side thing in order to tell us this halacha, that how much our anticipation for Mashiach has to be, that whenever you mention Mashiach, even if it's like a side point, it has to be ma'oder in you, and has to arouse in you a feeling that you want Mashiach to come as soon as possible. So, what does the Rebbe say over here? Why is it that whenever you mention Mashiach, so why should that be ma'oder in you, a feeling that Mashiach should come as soon as possible? The Rebbe said, because a Jew feels that he can't have any shleimus without Beis Mashiach. That life cannot be perfect, so to say. I'm lacking without Mashiach. So the Rebbe doesn't explain so clearly over here, why is that so? Why is it that I can't have any shleimus without Beis Mashiach? Why is it that my life is not perfect without Beis Mashiach? So I think we could explain it like this. There's a number of ways of explaining it, but based on things we discussed in previous shiurim also. So what is Mashiach all about? So we discussed we discussed this idea in many different levels. So let's just first talk about it at the very basic halachic level, the way the Rambam explains it. The way the Rebbe explains the Rambam is the Rambam's definition of Mashiach is coming to bring back the shleimus of Torah and mitzvahs. He's coming to bring back Malchus Beis David, the Davidic dynasty, and through that the shleimus of Torah and mitzvahs. So, and as we discussed in previous weeks, that's also why Mashiach is an ikar in Yiddishkeit, because it's part of Nitzchis HaTorah. Part of the eternity of Torah is believing that eventually there's going to come a time when we're actually going to be able to fulfill all the mitzvahs. So now, what would it mean if a person says, I believe in Mashiach, but I don't await Mashiach. I don't anticipate Mashiach. What are you saying? You're saying, that's wonderful. I believe one day Hashem is going to fulfill His plan. He wants that eventually we should be able to fulfill all of Torah mitzvahs, and eventually He's going to make that happen.
But I'm not part of it.
Maybe I'll be part of it, but it's not negaya to me. It doesn't touch me. My life is okay the way it is, right? If He wants to do that, so that's totally fine with me, right? Or maybe it's not fine with me, but I believe it's going to happen, right? Because that's what He said He's going to do, right? So I believe it, right? But what the Rambam's saying over here is you have to believe that Torah and mitzvahs is something that is negaya to you, that affects you. This is your shleimus. And I think it connects very, very well with what the Rambam says in the famous Rambam, the Rebbe always quotes in his Gerushin, right? That every single Jew, even a Jew who says I'm not interested in Torah mitzvahs, but really, he really wants to do all the mitzvahs. That's really what he wants to do, and therefore, even if he's not interested in doing it, like when it comes to a get, he has to give a get, but he doesn't want to, and they force him to give it. So now get can't be given against your will, says the Rambam. But if the halacha is saying, if the Torah is saying that you have to give the get, so that's really what you want to do, because really every single Jew wants to do Torah mitzvahs. That's only his Yitzhar overcame him. So why is that so? Why is that so? So as the Chassidus explains in many places, Rabbi mentions it, because Torah mitzvahs is not something which is superimposed upon a Yid. That's who he is. Yisroel is Rashi Tevis Yeshi Shem Ribi Oisies LaTorah, right? That there's 600,000 letters in the Torah. Meaning the very identity of a Yid is bound up with Torah mitzvahs. If a Yid doesn't have Torah mitzvahs, he is lacking. He is lacking. He's missing something. This is what he wants to do. This is who he is. So therefore, I think that's what the Rebbe is saying over here. A Yid doesn't have shleimus without Torah mitzvahs. So therefore, a Yid doesn't have shleimus without Bias HaMashiach, because till Bias HaMashiach, we don't have the shleimus of Torah mitzvahs. So, I think that's what the Rambam means over here, that someone who's not mechaka l'biyasai is kaifer b'Torah. Why is he a kaifer b'Torah? Why is he denying Torah? It goes hand in hand, because the Torah says that Mashiach's going to come. What does the Torah? What does the Torah say? What is Mashiach all about? Bringing back the shleimus of Torah mitzvahs. So, if you don't believe that that is relevant to you, that means you don't really believe in Torah mitzvahs. It means that you believe that Torah mitzvahs is something that's not negeya to you. That it's just like Hashem's thing that He wanted to do, but I could be okay without that. So that's denying part of the definition of what Yiddishkeit is about. Yiddishkeit is something that it's who we are. It's not just something that Hashem just decided that we should do. This is who we are. So the Rambam is saying, so yes, of course it's a feeling also, right? But like you said before, right? It's, in other words, it's if a person understands, right, that Mashiach is something that's negeya to him, that like the Rebbe says, he doesn't have shleimus without Bias HaMashiach, he's lacking without Bias HaMashiach. So automatically he'll anticipate Mashiach. Yeah, of course it's possible that a person should be so involved in his worldly desires that maybe right now he doesn't anticipate Mashiach so much, and maybe you won't call that person a kofer, so to say, because he's not really denying. But the point I think the Rambam is saying is that believing in Mashiach, not just believing in Mashiach, it's believing that Mashiach is negeya to you, and therefore I should, and naturally I will anticipate Bias HaMashiach. So I think that's at a very basic level, yeah? That's how we could explain why a Yid doesn't have shleimus without Bias HaMashiach. Because Bias HaMashiach is about the shleimus of Torah mitzvahs. So I think, let's go a little bit deeper. So according to Chassidus, so what is the whole concept of Bias HaMashiach? Dir b'tachtonim, right? But Hashem should have a dwelling place in this world. What's dir b'tachtonim? Gili Elikus. Right? There should be Gili Elikus in this world. So, same thing. It's possible a person could believe, okay, Hashem has this plan of dir b'tachtonim, that's what He wants, right? In other words, I'm totally fine without that. I could just live over here in Gullus, Rachmana litzlan, right? And life is fine. But Hashem has this plan. He wants to reveal Himself in this world. Okay, so good for Him. But obviously that's not the case. The whole definition of a Yid's whole purpose of existence in this world is to bring to realization dir b'tachtonim. And in fact, the Yid himself, like the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, he is the ultimate of dir b'tachtonim. That there should be gili l'kus, there should be a godly revelation to a Yid and in a Yid over here, down here in this world. So if a Yid is going to say that, I believe in Mashiach, I believe there's going to be dir b'tachtonim, I believe there's going to be gili l'kus, but I don't care when it happens, and it's not negeya to me. So he's being koifer with the whole concept of Torah. The whole concept of Torah mitzvahs is that this is something which is negeya to you. This is the tachlis habriya of you. And I think that's what the Rebbe was saying in the Maimon of Atatetzava, the last Maimon the Rebbe gave out. That the fact that there should be gili elikus, or gili oil in seif habli gvul, Rebbe says over there, is negeya to the etzem mitzias of a Yid. It says your very existence, it's negeya to you, just by definition of the fact that you're a Yid, that there should be a Gili Oren Seif Habli Gvul, that there should be a revelation of the ultimate revelation of Hashem in this world. So automatically, so you anticipate Mashiach, because without that you're lacking. You don't have shleimus without Bias HaMashiach. So just maybe to add one more point. The Rambam, interesting, he says, Kol mi she'enei maimin boy, right? Anyone who doesn't believe in Him, or anticipate His coming, is a kaifer b'Torah. So the Rambam's emphasizing over here also that it's not enough just to believe in the concept of Geula in general, or the coming of the era of Geula. You have to believe that there's going to be a Moshiach, there's going to be a basar v'dam, there's going to be a human of flesh and blood, who's going to be the Melech mi Beis David, that's going to make this happen. So I think we could also explain, also based on what we discussed in previous shiurim, also why this is Nagea and Emunah. We discussed, so why is it so important that there be a Melech HaMashiach? Why is it so important that there be this Basar V'Dam, this human being? So the idea is, like the Tzemach Tzedek explains in Derech Mitzvah Yisacha, the whole way that Malchus Hashem is revealed in this world is through a Melech Basar V'Dam. Through the Melech Beis David, specifically from Beis David, because the Melech is someone who's totally batal to Hashem, totally subservient, has no personal will, and through everybody being batal to him, that's how we're batal to Hashem. So in other words, automatically, if you believe that if you understand that the concept that Malchus, revealing Malchus Hashem in the world, is Negea to you, so automatically, the fact that there will be this individual who's revealing Malchus Hashem in the world, that's also Negea to you. It's also something you have to believe in, you have to anticipate. In other words, maybe to add another point, that Rebbe explains elsewhere that there's a difference between Melucha and Memshala. So this talks about Melucha and Memshala. Memshala means like dominion even against someone's will. If someone who's in charge, right? He's a dictator, right? He's in charge, right? He's the governor, he's in charge, right? So all of the people who are under his rule don't necessarily have any particular relationship with him. Okay, he's in charge, he's running the country. They couldn't really care less if he leaves tomorrow. The concept of Melucha is Malchuse V'Ratzen Kiblu Aleim. Melucha is something that we accept willingly. Right. It's because, as Chassidus explains, so the connection between the king and the nation, it's not just like a external connection that the king, the nation, the subjects, they have to do what the king wants. It's a deeper connection that people feel that they can't be complete, so to say, without a king. They need a king. They have a deeper relationship. That's how Chassidus explains on Rosh Hashanah, why are we asking Hashem, Melech al ha'olam kulei b'chveidecha? Hashem, you should be king over the whole world. What do we care, right? Why is that so important to us? And Chassidus explains because the connection between us and Hashem is a deeper connection. See, again, we feel that without Hashem being king, we're lacking. So that's the same concept that the Rebbe is saying over here, that a Yid feels that he doesn't have any shleimus without Bias HaMashiach. So and how is Malchus Hashem going to be revealed in the world? Through there being a human Melech Basar V'Dam. So therefore, you have to believe that there's going to be a human Melech HaMashiach, a human king, and you also have to be Mechakel B'Yasa. You also have to anticipate his coming, because you have to feel that you don't have any shleimus, that you are lacking. This is who you are. In other words, you need.
In other words, that the Torah, you're paid for the Torah if your shleimus is not realized.
Yeah.
In other words, I think you are paid for the Torah because you're. Because Torah says is that a Yid's Metzias is bound up with Torah. That's part of what Torah says and what Torah is about, right? But not that Torah is just something that Hashem wants me to do, but it's what He wants me to do, but it's not Negea to me. It's not part of my shleimus. So if you don't await Mashiach, what are you saying? You're saying that that's not true. In other words, I could live life without Torah. Torah is just Hashem's plan. It's His thing. It brings to mind an unfortunate part of history, right? When there was talking about the Golan, right? Going back to the 80s, right? When there was a certain individual that said that that we were in Gullus, right, for 1900 years, and so we could be another 1900 years in Gullus, right? God forbid, right? The Rebbe was so upset that he said such a thing, and it was like a kfira, right? This is denial. So he didn't deny Bias HaMashiach. He didn't say that he doesn't believe Mashiach is going to come. He said, yeah, but whenever Hashem wants to bring Mashiach, Hashem will bring Mashiach, right? He said, us as Yidden, right, what he was saying was, we're okay to be in Gullus. We don't have any problem being in Gullus. So, yeah, of course we believe that Mashiach is going to come, right? And he could come any time, and we could leave Gullus, but that's his problem. That's what he was saying, right? That's what this individual was saying. Like, he wasn't denying that Mashiach is going to come. He wasn't saying that Mashiach is not coming, right? He wasn't saying that Mashiach is going to come in 1900 years. That's not what he was saying. He was just saying that far as we're concerned, we're okay. We could be in Gullus, right? We don't have any problem. Hashem has a problem. And the Rebbe was saying no, right? Being in Gullus, not having Mashiach, isn't just Hashem's problem. It's our problem also. We're not complete. We're lacking. And if you don't recognize that, so you're missing a whole fundamental aspect of what Torah is about. The Torah is not just what Hashem wants me to do because that's what He wants. He wants it because this is who we are. This is what a Yid wants. This is who a Yid is. So I think that's an Akudah Senior.
Understanding of the Indian concept of Torah.
I think so. In other words, I think so. Yeah.
What does it mean, Kaifa? What is the gather of Kaifa b'Torah?
A Kaifa b'Torah. Now, I think if the a Kaifa, a Kaifa. You're asking another question. How do you define someone who's Kaifa b'Torah? Right? Someone who's denying Torah. Let's say I have.
Understand what is how Torah.
I hear what you're saying, right?
No,
but maybe I'll throw it. Maybe I'll come from a different angle. Yeah. Let's say a person will say that. Let's say the Rambam brings over here. He says someone who doesn't believe in Mashiach, he denies Torah because you see that the Torah in Parshas Bilam talks about Mashiach, right? Now, let's say a person is going to come along and say, "Well, I interpret those psukim different, right? I interpret them different, right? I have a different interpretation of those things." So he's denying Torah. He's just saying I have a different interpretation. But I think the Rambam will still say that you're a kaifa. Why you're a kaifa? Because that you have the incorrect interpretation, right? If a person is not only a kaifa in Torah, I think if they deny because they don't believe in Torah, I think even if the person comes and they read Torah and they interpret it incorrectly, they're also denying, so to say, Torah. Obviously, the Rambam has his proofs. You have to know what are the proofs, that this is that this is the meaning of Torah. I understand. We still have to, but at least the general concept, just to explain this idea, why anticipating Mashiach? Why is it so important? So it's not just expecting Mashiach, but it's also anticipating Mashiach. And like the Rebbe says, because I don't have any shleimus without Mashiach. Yeah, and then the Kud is Yishataka be Zeicha, once and for all, Mashiach Shataka come, Taka take us out of Gullus, and alleviate our suffering. I should have him take it from me out.
שיבוא